Hi, my name is Shayla Williams, and I currently work with oil and acrylic, more oil than acrylic now. I just like the way that it blends, especially when I'm doing my portrait work. I currently do a lot of portrait work. Sometimes I do abstracts, and that's what I use my acrylic paint for, but mainly portraits. So as a kid, my grandma had this craft room and she had all this acrylic paint, all these different crafts, these floral crafts, all these things. And I remember going in there and just being like, man, this is so cool. And so at that point, I started to draw a little bit. I was a kid, so I was using crowns and markers. Um, and as I got older, I was like, man, I really like to sketch. So I started just sketching different things, different portraits, different, sceneries that I would see. And after I had my second son, I was working part-time. And so I kind of was like, well, maybe I should start painting. And so I picked it up as a hobby. And this was about 7 years ago. And it kind of just grew from there. Indianapolis has been awesome as far as a place where I can get my work out there. Am I the best at really utilizing those resources? Not always. And I have to do a better job at that, definitely, if I want to progress in my art career. But being from Kansas, there's definitely more of a market here for the arts. This is actually my first year in Meet the Artist, so I'm super excited about that. My pieces that I'm submitting for this show are going to be portrait pieces of different levels of, we talked about quarantine, just those feelings through the quarantine, actually the pandemic, everything that's happened this year. So being a Black woman in America, with all the social injustices and the things that are going on now, those are things that I've always seen. They weren't something that was necessarily new to me. There are things that we're seeing now more on the news because of social media and smartphones. But I feel like I've always knew that those things were out there. So they've always kind of influenced my art in various ways. And I do a lot of Black women in my portraits. I think one piece I have, it's called Quarantine Sundays. And it's a woman in a fur coat in her living room. The living room kind of looks like it's from the 1970s. And it's just that feeling of just, I'm here. I would use an artist as somebody who's definitely inspired me in my work. It'd be Kehinde Wiley, because he does portrait work, but his portrait work is nothing like I've ever seen. It's just, here are these portraits, but it's the background that always gets me. Each one is so intricate and different and beautiful. And when I do my work, I don't want people just to see, like I said, the portrait. I want them to also look at everything, that's going on around as well. So there might be a symbol, or maybe the person is making a gesture over here. Or maybe you see something on a curtain that you can pull from that, and it can make you think, oh, I can relate to that in some way, shape, or form. Just something small, maybe insignificant to the next person, but to you, it's like, okay, that makes sense. So I just want people who are viewing the artwork to just really look at it. Don't, when you're first seeing the portrait, you look at a face, right? You're looking at the face. But for me, I want you to look at the things that are also in the portrait, and why are they in there, and how does that make you feel?